This week on RSBANDB Update, the Underworld Task Set arrives in and moves beyond its borders. We talk about ghost implings, Moonstone jewellery, and blueberry pies. Was Jagex right to release these tasks? Also the future of task sets, and previewing the Sanctum of Rebirth. This is RSBANDB Update, episode 995, recorded Thursday, July 18th, 2024. The Hunt for Ghost Implings. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of RSBANDB Update. This week we have the Underworld area tasks, hard and elite variants. Pernasius is still here, filling in for Tannis. Welcome back.
Thank you, thank you.
Also joining us on the podcast this week is Zerdones to share his thoughts, inner ruminations, and maybe rage about the task set. Do you have rage about the task set this week or no?
I mean, I can generate rage. Well,
I don't think we
can do
no
that.
no. Let's not generate rage unless we're actually upset here. This week, I know there's people out there who would like that, but I'm not going to do that just for funsies because that's not the kind of podcast we are. But
we got to put one of those great big Ghostbusters signs in the thumbnail.
I can do that if you
yes.
want.
Yes,
I could do that if you want. The hunt for the ghostly impling, the sequel to the hunt for Red October and Red Rectober.
Yeah, little ghostly impling in one of those Ghostbusters no signs, big angry Shane face. Yeah, we can do this.
Yeah, of course. But
SEO, yeah.
But let's thank some experienced tier Patreon members. This week, I'd like to thank Amos Reed, Andrew C, Drama Free, Jason S, Jesse W, Kesky, Ricky A, Rippeth, Runestar, and the Naked Captain. These guys make RSBANDB Update possible, and without them, we would not be here. Stand by a little bit later to hear more about our Patreon offerings. But in the meantime, if you want to follow along, full show notes can be found at update.show. We have a friends chat in-game, which is at BitsBytes, and a community Discord over at update.show/Discord. I am Shane12088 in-game, and these two can be found at their usernames, Pernasius and Zerdones, without numbers. But
we are originals.
Yeah. So do you guys do our wonderful task set this week?
Certainly did.
Most of them.
What are you missing?
Well, yeah.
Wait. I know what you're missing. You're missing you're missing the elite one that we can't do till Monday, right?
There's one more that I'm missing.
Which one is that?
The bracelet.
Oh, okay.
I could do it. I have a Moonstone. I could do it, but I'm holding off. Okay.
I guess maybe there's a story behind that then? Do you want to dive in with that, or should I go over some of the tasks first?
Let's go into the tasks first,
okay.
and
because
we'll
get
when we
there.
get to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think it'll be more obvious.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. They start fairly innocuous at the hard level. Spin some fungal bowstring in plant some morchella mushrooms at rest while listening to the Deadbeats at the City of and of course those are the musicians that you bring back with that old black magic quest, which I think that was definitely one of the highlights of Necromancy when that came out. We weren't expecting a quest like that, but that was good. There's Food for the Soul, which requires you to catch and cook a ghostly soul in the City of Fairly straightforward there. Necronium, smith and Necronium bar at the smithy in the City of Fair enough. Craft some miasma runes. Okay, 60 rune crafting, no problem. Rune mythos, something you get done, fairly early in your necromancy journey. Ghost Hunter. Catch a ghostly impling while wearing a full set of ghostly robes, requiring the Curse of Zaros mini quest, amongst other things. How long did this take you guys?
Favorite.
How long did this take you guys, the hunt for the ghostly impling?
Well, I cheated because I got this one months ago because this achievement actually came out with Necromancy launch.
Oh.
They just moved it into the task set. So it was a pre-existing achievement.
To actually catch it while wearing the ghostly robes.
Yep.
Okay.
So what I did a couple months ago while I was doing rituals leveling, I just put my ghostly robes on and hung out at the ritual site doing my rituals.
Yeah.
Waited for one to spawn, just went
Yeah.
and grabbed it.
Yeah.
So easy peasy.
Other apparent spawn points include the water around so you can go, take a boat out and go do it that way. Also up by the fishing spot as well on this.
Which is where I got mine months ago when it came. Again, I was the same as Adones. I love achievements, so I sort of always hunt through those when they first come out. And I just sat fishing. One spawned after about 7 minutes, caught it, and done.
This was one of the ones that I saw a good deal amount of rage about this week. Is that justified?
If you didn't do it before today, before launch, I can see how it would be really annoying because all of a sudden everyone is trying to hunt these. Like, the first couple of weeks of Necromancy release, it was really funny at the ritual site watching all of the achievement hunters, all the RuneScore completionists, because every time an Impling would spawn, it would just get deleted instantly because a dozen people would converge on it. So I can imagine it being very frustrating. I'm definitely sympathetic.
Yeah, that's why I left it alone at that start one and just ended up going down because of the feed the cat one to get the drop off the cat. I ended up doing it at the same time as that. Go down, do some fishing. I saw the thing spawn, so I thought beautiful. So next time I went there, I just took my ghostly robes, and then when I saw it, bang, grabbed it and got it done. So, I mean, the thing is, it's gonna be tough the first few days because everyone's doing it, but give it a week and everyone will get it. I don't think it deserves the rage it's copying.
No, I'm sympathetic to the frustration, but it'll even out.
Exactly.
Yeah, and how dare they make a mini quest from 2008? I want to say a requirement for an achievement. 2005.
Keep going. 2005, yeah.
A lore-filled mini quest. I mean, that was one of the best mini quests.
Yeah, it really was.
It was a good one.
For people who haven't done it yet, it tells the story of Zamorak's betrayal of Zaros.
Yep.
So if that is the kind of lore that you're interested in, go for it. And you know what I think the best thing about this mini quest was? Having done it again recently on Old School, it's the same mini quest that we have right here. I think one of the great things about it is that you can still, do this today and immerse yourself in it. And it gets you that feeling of how that lore used to be back in the day before, everything, as people say, went firing off with the Sixth Age business. So it's quintessential Fifth Age lore. And I think for anybody out there who's achievement hunting, this is probably something that you should have done already. Am I off base for saying that?
Nope.
No, I wouldn't say so. Besides which, like, the reward is just cool. I guess it's less cool now. It was really cool at the time because the ghostly robe, like they make you basically invisible. It was really cool.
Yeah.
It was a neat thing to have back in the day.
Right. And, at the same time, you factor that in and you factor in how long it takes people, to maybe find one, and the fact that you might have, because I know when I was doing this after I got mine, I did see a few other Implings throughout the week here in so I called them out in clan chat or, message people I knew who were needing this, and one of the folks I messaged did happen to forget to equip the ghostly robes there, so there was no achievement on that, and they'll just wind up getting them after the fact with that. But I'm going to keep reading on down the list then. I know there's rage in the community about that one, but I'm not going to talk about that. Maybe there's more rage about this next one. Passing the test, create a passing bracelet while performing each step in the city of
Yeah.
Okay. I had a problem with this one because I had moonstones in the bank, which I apparently didn't cut in so I was on the hunt for an uncut Moonstone this week, and I just bought one on the GE. I think it was about 7 mil, which, I mean, it's...
that's not bad.
No, and I mean...
I saw someone in Clan West buy one for 10 mil.
You should have contacted me.
You have uncut?
Yeah, remember when the necklace was coming out, and I said, when Osseous was coming out, and I bought 10 of them because I knew it was going to require those. So I had 10 uncuts sitting in my bank. So this was easy for me.
Oh, that's nice.
And what you ought to do, I think this is a lesson. Whenever Thalmond comes around and has the Moonstone, you buy that because it's like
anyway.
It's like what, 4K, I think?
Yep.
Something like that. It's really cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been doing that. So I have one in my bank. I haven't been buying them on the GE, but I made all the jewelry and I had one spare Moonstone. So I could do this. I'm not doing it. Or I'm not doing it yet. I may do it eventually later. But this is one of the tasks that annoyed me. I don't want to say it upset me, but it annoyed me because, I already have one. Yeah. I don't need another one. What am I going to do with another one? I'm not going to be able to sell them because everyone's going to have one.
Yeah.
Yep.
and see, I was in a good position because when the Moonstone jewelry came out, I only made the necklace one that boosts the rituals, so I was okay to make one.
Right. Yeah, see, I had made all of them as I got Moonstones from Thalmond, and I've been continuing to buy the Moonstones as they come up because I'm expecting them to enhance the amulets down the road. So I'm thinking
that would make sense.
That.
And I would also expect, given the fact that we're having, the Sanctum next week, I would also expect with that there will be a source of Moonstones probably from there too.
Yeah, I think that's a good possibility, because that's the other reason that this task annoys me, is because Moonstones do seem to be quite rare.
Yeah,
like they come up from Thalmond about once every month and a half or so, maybe once every 2 months. They seem to be quite rare from rituals, at least in my experience.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, I think a lot of my frustration may be mitigated by what happens on Monday. We'll see.
Okay, so what exactly are you looking for? Just like...
I am expecting enough Reddit nerd rage that Jagex changes it somehow.
That changes the task.
I'm banking on Reddit whining enough for Jagex to make a change.
I hope they don't, because,
Come at me, Reddit.
No, you want to be with them at this point.
Well, I mean, I was kind of just insulting them.
Oh, I mean, hey, they'll be your friend one day and they'll be your blood enemy the next day.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but like, I feel like this is on par with hard level task, and I feel like it's things that we've seen in other task sets. So it's not too far out of the realm of possibility. Substitute Moonstone for Onyx, for example, and I think a lot of the dissonance that's happening comes from the fact that, right now you use the Dragonstone enchant on Moonstone jewelry, but when you look at it, Moonstone is more rare than Onyx and more expensive than Onyx. And, when they came out, I think it was Mod Sponge who said and did the Moonstone jewelry. He said that if effectively he wanted to, and they wanted a jewelry set that is now Moonstone that was, more rare than Onyx and actually held its value, because we all know how the Onyx value hit the toilet.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of the problem with crafting materials in general, right? Like, if you make them, like, their value is really elastic. It can tank really quickly.
Yeah. Like, you get a Moonstone from your rituals. That's, like you said, anytime this week, that's anywhere between an extra 7 or 12 mil GP that you're going to be up, right? So in many ways, this is kind of moving towards those skilling WoW moments that they talked about a number of years ago. And I feel like up until now, it hasn't been a problem because, people got the jewelry that they want and they went on with their lives. But now here, with this task set being out, everybody's on the hunt for it, and making it, from scratch again, that it's becoming an issue. But the reality is that for people who are doing rituals right now, and if you get a Moonstone, you're going to be happy.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think from that logic and where it was designed to go, I don't think they need to change this task. That's my hope on it.
I will say the other thing that I think, the other, I don't want to exactly say solution, because like, as annoyed as I am, I'm not entirely convinced it's actually a problem. It's just me being kind of peeved.
You're being a curmudgeon-y old man.
Absolutely. And proud of it. But the other quote-unquote solution would be if Sanctum has a use for them somehow.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, put 10 of them together and you get a toy.
Give Pern his ring or whatever.
Yeah. Or something, I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
Something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, I'm not complaining because, as I said, at the time I had 4 in the bank, so I only bought 6, and they were under $1 million when I bought them. So it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't an issue. And
it's a good value at the end
there.
of the day with that.
Solid investment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could go and sell them now, but it's like, GP's GP. I mean, I've got enough of it to get me through at the moment. I don't need. I'd love a blue party hat, but I'll never sell enough stuff for
PVM.
one of those. So hey,
PVM.
Just,
PVM.
Yes, once I hit 200 mil all, which should be by the end of this year, I'll probably have to start PVMing.
And the last task of the hard set.
That project we said last week.
Yeah, the last task of the hard set is Volley Gowl. Hit an enemy with Volley of Souls that is charged up to at least 3 residual soul stacks.
What
Volley
did you call
what?
that?
Volley Gowl.
Volley Ghoul.
Gowl.
Ghoul. It's a ghoul. Come on, where's Earth when we need him? How do you get Gowl?
Gowl.
That's how I've always said it.
Okay,
of course it
fair
is.
enough.
Of course it is.
Come on, what the hell's your notes, dude? Of course it is.
It's a ghoul.
Ay. All right, elites.
Elite.
Undead to rights. This one was done already. If you did it before, teleport to the Ungale ritual site using the teleport incantation for that.
Yep, that launched with the Requiem for Dragon Quest. That was, I think, was a comp rec too at the time.
It was. Down with the disturbances. Dispel 6 ritual disturbances in a single ritual. Not bad. You can do that with high enough focus.
Especially at Ungale ritual site.
Why there?
Because the disturbances last longer.
Oh, right.
So if you're a little bit inattentive, if you're having trouble with accessibility issues or whatever, gives you a little bit more time.
Yeah, that's right. Forgot about that aspect of it. I was normally focused on the less XP and less resources of it.
Yeah, fair.
He's my berry pie. Give Thalmond a blueberry pie in the city of which can only be done on Wednesdays.
Yeah, this is the other one that's getting people's panties in a twist.
Oh, they had to wait 2 days. Jeez. Come on, Jagex. You made me wait 48 hours? God damn!
I know, right?
And this was the thing, is that the other one that we'll talk about after was graced, but this one you had to wait till Wednesday to get the Underworld Garment. No, that was the pre-show title. The Underworld Grimoire, number 4, you had to wait till Wednesday for that. And, of course, you do need to do the task for this of doing the tier 90 tank armor as well.
Well, you need to do the tier 80. You need to be able to you need to start the tier 90 task. You don't need to complete it.
Oh, right, because that blueberry pie is one of those for that. Yeah.
But that goes on par with elite achievements. I mean, they should be on those 90+ skills, so yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's a unreasonable requirement.
No, and I mean, it's an easy task aside from the day of the week limitation once you start
I
that.
actually set an alarm to remind me because just to make sure I didn't forget it was Wednesday.
I know you, Pern, you're not much of a Discord user, but for listeners who are, the RS Discord has some rule. The official RuneScape Discord has some roles that you can assign to that will ping you on certain recurring events, one of which is Thalmond. So you can get a ping to Discord every Wednesday morning or evening, depending on your point of view.
That's not a half bad idea, because with the way time reset lands, sometimes I get confused whether it's my Wednesday at 6 p.m. or if it's my Tuesday at 6 p.m. I need to turn up, and if I turn up a day late, well, I'm SOL on that, right? And we know how that is. If you miss a Moonstone, I might have missed the last Moonstone that was on there, but
yeah, that would be good.
Of course, to get the blueberry pie, it's your usual pie dish, pastry dough, and blueberries, which you actually get by bringing a ball of golden wool to Bob in Scape Rune, which you access through Fairy Ring Code CIS. Which
was not expecting Scape Rune lore in 2023.
No, right? It was a happy thing when that happened, wasn't it?
It was a good one, yeah.
I mean, it's better than what happens to Bob in Old School. No spoilers, but geez. So
he uses up the last of his 9 lives.
Oh,
I guess I just spoiled it, didn't I? And
but you didn't say where or how, so that's all that counts.
Okay.
Yeah, well, as soon as Shane said that's better than what it ended up, we sort of figured that he met his maker.
Climbed up the curtain.
That's okay. I don't like cats anyways.
Chewed on the electrical cord one last time.
Oh! Yikes.
We had a cat that did that.
Ooh.
How many lives did that use up?
It just blew it across the room, but it was like, its fur was all. You should have seen it, because it was it was my mum's cat. It was a Persian, so they're big, fluffy. And you see a Persian cat get electrocuted, it becomes like a cotton wool ball.
Was the cat okay?
Its fur was out everywhere.
But was the cat okay?
The cat was okay, yeah.
Okay, good. I just feel like we just have to give the finale of that story.
It never, ever chewed an electric cord after that. So it did learn.
Well, yeah. It's quite a harsh lesson, but yeah, effective.
Yikes. Well, I guess we're glad the cat was okay, even though I don't like them.
No, I wasn't a big cat person. It was my mum's cat, but hey.
But aside from all the beating around of the bush on this one, I think this was the other controversial one, right? Of the 3.
Yeah, I would say so.
What do you think was more controversial? This, the Impling, or the other one?
Personally, I saw more people complaining about this one.
Okay.
I don't know about the community at large.
Sorry, the other one being the bracelet.
Like
so bracelet, Impling, or this?
Yeah, I saw more people complaining about the pie, actually.
Yeah, right. Because on day 1, they expected to gain access to all their content, right?
Yeah.
How dare Jagex put a piece of content in game that you...
I will say it's a little bit odd in the context of task sets, because it's the only task achievement that is time-locked.
Right.
And there's not that many that are even like time gated. Like there's a few that you need to
this is something
farming for, but
yeah, but you can protect on that and go do something else for a bit, and you get it the same day.
Right. Everything else is just grinding.
Like this is almost on the vein of a Master Questcape requirement, like the Effigy Incubator or something, right?
Right. It's just sort of a forced time gate.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, but
I mean, it's not a huge.
No, like I feel like the biggest kerfuffle on this one came from the day 1 people wanting to get their content on day 1 like they always do, and not being able to do that is what ruffled the feathers. I think that's what this one came down to, and if you remove that and you remove those people from the pool, I think the other ones are definitely bigger from that perspective. The pie, or sorry, not the pie.
The other 99.9% of the community didn't care.
the bracelet and the Impling. So, also we have BYOB make an overload potion within the city of and specifically the last call. I found this one a bit weird and arbitrary. Why are we making an overload there?
At the bar.
Okay.
You're mixing a drink in a bar.
All right. 96 herb blood
BYOB.
apartment. There you go.
Yeah, it's sort of that's the one that did annoy me because when I reached 200 mil and I've got like 12k overload in my bank, I had to go and then buy all the ingredients to
and
do
you
it
don't
again.
want just a standard overload at the end of the day, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I dropped it in the once I made it, I just dropped it.
Yeah. A Sorrow State of Affairs. Activate the Sorrow Prayer over the river Numenor, and this is another weird bit kicking us back to Numenor for this.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, guys, I got screwed on this one. I was going over the river in itself, just standing on the bridge going, why isn't it working? Why isn't it working? Then realized, hang on, this is the one in Death's office. And when I went there, I actually teleported to the War's Retreat and went into Death's office that way, and the door wasn't there. No door. I'm going, what's going on? Yep, I had to actually log out, log back in for the door to appear. So
what?
It was just a glitch. Yeah, so
because
I don't know if it was something. Yeah, exactly. I don't know if it was there. The door was there, but I couldn't click on enter. So I don't know if it's a glitch because I entered via War's Retreat rather than through the actual Death's office outside from what's it called there. But yeah, I had to actually log out and log back in to get the door to appear so I could click on it and do it.
Weird. I've never seen that.
Yeah.
It was a weird graphical glitch. Or I guess not graphical, but...
No, it wasn't great. No, the graphics were fine. It was just there was no click option.
Weird.
We also have Owl Be Seeing You, track 8 owls within the city of requiring owls up to level 90 necromancy and the Housing of Parliament quest, which is relatively new.
This one shares tracking with the what's the
name
of
the
achievement called? Birds of Prey.
Yeah, that's it.
Which is the one to track all of them.
Yeah, I think
rack.
I think this was actually the longest bit outside of the Impling for me because I just said, I'm just going to do this achievement here and call this done because I never did this after the quest because, I'm not trimmed, so I had no reason to at that point, or rather, I'm not Master Quest, but...
Right.
Yeah, I'd already had this one done.
Now, here's one. Fetch me their souls. Craft a soul rune at the soul altar with the soul cape equipped. How do you get the soul cape, you might ask? Well, it's replaying the boss fight of Nomad's Elegy.
The hard version.
Yeah, the hard version.
Although hard is relative.
Yeah, and you can dart this, by the way.
You can. It uses 4 darts, doesn't it? I think it's 1 dart per phase.
I don't know. I didn't use darts.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I might be wrong about that.
But
don't quote me on that.
I had never done this because I wasn't, in my combat phase back when Nomad's Elegy came out. So this was actually my first time going in there and doing this.
How'd you find it?
It wasn't too bad actually. It took a while to realize that I shouldn't use Soul Split.
Oh yeah,
because otherwise it'll heal 10k. But you know what the funny bit is that I actually got the first 2 phases down while using Soul Split and being able to out DPS that healing it was doing.
Yeah, Necro was ludicrously powerful.
Yeah. But I was able to do it and, get all the soul capes at once, and then I just got this huge wall of achievement that was coming up with that. And it's actually an interesting boss fight when you look at that regard, because when you look at it from a movement perspective, you initially have the entire ledge to work with, and it gradually closes in on you for that. So I had fun with it. It was a fun combat feat I wasn't expecting, and I'm glad I was actually able to get that done there. So
yeah, it's not too bad with necromancy. I remember I did it for the first time because claiming one of them I think is a trim rack. So I did it with melee a couple of years ago, and that wasn't a lot of fun because the damage trade is really bad.
Right.
But yeah, with necro it's pretty chill. Really nice. I know a couple of people who are really not PVMers who had no trouble and breezed straight through it.
Yeah, you just got to watch out for some of the mechanics.
There's a couple of
near the end,
mechanics.
and just stay moved out of the way and call it good on that.
Yeah, I did this a while ago with Magic, so I had a couple of the capes already in there. So, and if I can do it fairly easily, then anyone can.
Yeah, I mean, you get the first Soul Cape for doing it under 20 minutes, and you get the golden one for doing it in 6. I think it took me like 2.5.
Yeah.
So.
Oh wow! So you got the golden straight away?
Yeah, I got it all the capes all at onit's, and they're all sitting in the PLH cape rack right now.
I think I got 4 of them. So yeah, I need.
And it's like it's an interesting necromancy cape to have too, because these capes actually have a plus 17 bonus on all their stats on them. So
yeah, they're pretty good capes.
Which I think is more than even the Cape of Accomplishment. I think, isn't the Cape of Accomplishment like 8 or 9, I think? Let me just check that. Oh, no, never mind. The Cape of Accomplishment's still better. That's 21.6. So it's a couple of rungs below that. But
yeah.
And finally, the last one that is graced until the 29th of June is requiring us to talk to somebody in the Sanctum. Oh, July. Right. It's July. Okay, wow, that shows where I am.
Time is a lie.
Yeah.
And it's also 22nd, so this Monday.
Oh, okay. So
I thought it said 29th. To the 29th. Yeah, it's graced to the 29th. It can't be completed until Monday, but it's graced through the end of the week.
You've got grace period, yeah.
Yep.
So who do we think this is going to be?
Well, the fact that they've put a question mark on it, I think this might be that surprise that they were talking about.
Yeah, in terms of the boss.
Surprise third boss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know Avernick and folks, and I think you guys were talking about that this week. The Cadillacs, maybe?
Yeah. What did I say my 3 were?
Amasket? No?
Where was he? I know Avernick replied to it.
Yeah. But, I honestly think that's probably going to be the third boss that we have to talk to.
My top 3 guesses are Neat, like Bob the Cat's lady cat friend. Number 2, Cadillacs. Number 3, new cat character, newly introduced cat. Those are my top 3.
Yeah, and I think probably just based on how it goes, Cadillacs is probably the main one.
Yeah, Cadillacs would make sense.
And would it be interesting as kind of the pivot for the lore? And I think that kind of makes sense if that's where they're going, based on that Sanctum of Rebirth and falling from the Zemmer Eagle storyline last year. I think that'd be an interesting turn on this.
Bringing some of these Dead Slayer masters back to life.
Yeah, or even people we haven't had the need to talk to in a long time. So, but I mean, it's like the writing's on the tin, right? They call the achievement a game of cat and a mascot. So,
yeah. So I'm all in on cats,
unless it's actually a mascot, because I don't necessarily.
That would be a twist.
Yeah, that would be a twist. I don't necessarily know if they do that, but I mean, they've done stranger things in the past. But chances are the bulky guys will know about this before Monday as we get through this. But we're going to talk about the rewards that come from doing these achievements in just a wee bit. But before we do that, I'll thank our Patreon supporters this week. I'd like to thank Alvaro L, Amos Reed, Andrew C, Arvids L, Brayton K, Chilbura, Daniel W, Dominic R, Drama Free, Durham X, Gila Fleur, Jacob G, Jade Gizmo, Jason S, Jesse W, Keski, Lemon Lunge, Luminos, Mongrath, Parnassius, Ricky A, Rippeth, Robbie L, Runestar, Samuel FL, Scott DS, Shirtpants, Targar Yeen, The Naked Captain, The Dabbing Goat, Tim, Truth Ray, Ukulele Steve, Zant, and Zazakon. Big, huge thank you to all of our Patreon supporters. As I mentioned at the top of the show, that is something you can be a part of by heading over to patreon.com/RSBANDB. Just as this podcast goes up, actually, you'll be voting in the next monthly bit. We're going to be rerunning the two runners up from last month because there was a tie on that with something else as well. So definitely head on over there, patreon.com/RSBANB, and vote if that's something that you're if that's something that you're interested in. And of course, all Patreon members get access to the monthly bit, our monthly bonus show. Last month we talked about skills that go to 110. Sirion, Zerdones, and myself sat down and we named some skills, and I think we surprised people with the ones we went with there. A little bit different than what would have been expected, I think, on that. So, Zerdones, what was your favorite of the ones that we came up with? I'll let you spoil one of them, one of the skills.
Oh, my favorite?
That we came up with, yeah.
I feel like probably thieving.
That's the dark horse answer.
I like the most.
That's the dark horse answer, isn't it?
I think thieving, there's a lot of potential there. There's a lot of potential.
Yeah, and if you're wondering how exactly we got there, well, that's in the monthly bit, as well as 70 other or so of those episodes that you can find for as little as $1 a month at patreon.com/RSBNB. And we also have the VIP tier, where you get a rank on Discord and a chat channel, as well as high-quality stereo versions of the podcast for $3 a month. And if you want to give the ultimate gift, we do have the Insider tier for $5 a month, where you receive a shout-out on the podcast each and every week and gain exclusive access to the outtakes we use to make the clip show. And with that, you also get the RSBNB Update Christmas card every December. Patreon.com/RSBNB. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you.
All right. So, Underworld Grimoire number 3 and number 4, renamed from the Tomb of because they expanded it outward on that. How do you guys feel about these rewards? I feel like they're definitely pretty sweet in terms of what's available here. For number 3, dropped bones from Dragon all the way to Dragonkin bones are sent to Focus Storage. There's a 7.5% chance per Impure Essence of receiving an extra rune when rune crafting, 9% extra experience from dispelling ritual disturbances, 10% extra necroplasm from the rituals, unlimited daily teleports to the City of ritual site, 10% chance to mix 4-dose extreme necromancy potions when mixing 3-dose extreme necromancy potions in a disease-free mushroom patch, 5 noted daily dragon bones from Lupe, as well as 3 daily greater ghostly inks, and 3 daily greater ritual candles as well from Lupe. And Lupe will also now stock a limited amount of slime. I think that's pretty good in terms of benefits for doing this.
Disease-free mushroom patch and the extra 10% necroplasm, always handy. So I think it's a pretty nice reward slot.
Yeah, I also think that the dropping of dragon bones all the way up to the dragonkin bones is also a big deal, because you can there's nothing that says these need to be stay in focus storage. You don't even need to use that bone noting relic anymore for this, is you can just go kill these things and have all your bones sent to effectively.
But you do need to be wearing you do need to be wearing the grimoire.
Yeah. But I mean, if you're just killing, if you're just doing dragon bones or something, I don't think that's that big of a deal, right?
Yeah.
Because you're just giving up a god book at that point, which for these kind of dragons, I don't think that's too big of a deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm giving up my tiny little roll for ghostly. I'm not willing to do that. So.
What do you mean?
Prayer pet.
Oh.
I want my prayer pet.
Oh. So you're saying with the bone crusher?
Yeah.
Oh.
I want to grind my bones. I want my little ghosty friend.
Oh, good point on that. Good point, because.
But then you just send them to the focus. Then you get yourself some of the burial powder, and you get a much better chance.
Is it much better? Because usually it's.
I thought it's the same
XP.
chance. Yeah.
Oh, are they? I thought it was on XP.
I thought it was base
Actually,
XP.
Ghostly might even be. No, Ghostly is XP based, I think. I'm pretty sure it's base XP.
Yeah. I thought it was. Yeah, I thought Ghostly was XP.
Yeah, but I think it's base XP, not bonus XP. So I don't.
Okay.
Think the,
fair enough.
I don't think the altar bonus
makes any difference.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Although the Chaos Altar might. There's a lot of weird stuff around bonus XP for
I know
rare.
there is one pet out there that definitely is affected by forms of bonus XP. I don't remember offhand which it is. I feel like we've talked about it before on the show or something.
I don't remember.
But
I don't remember.
Underworld Grimoire 4, this extends the bones from dinosaur bones all the way up to reinforced dragon bones and frost dragon bones to be sent to focus storage. It ups that Impure Essence extra rune to 10% from 7.5. Increases the ritual disturbance rate from 9 to 12. Makes the extra necroplasm 15 instead of 10. Gives you a daily teleport to Lupe, so there's really no reason to not go buy the free stuff there, or buy the things that are available there. The potion effect no longer is limited to or requires the Underworld Grimoire to be equipped. Now that's a weird one. So it's just going to make it so that these necromancy potions now have a chance of becoming 4 doses anywhere.
I think that is there so that you don't have to choose between the Grimoire and the Blessing of the Gods, particularly with portables.
Fair enough. The call for portable scape has won out, it seems, on this.
or I guess you don't have to choose between the Grimoire or the Bic Book would be the other one.
Do people actually use the Bic Book?
Cluers do.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, people definitely do.
Okay, fair enough. Forget I asked that. I
love my Bic Book.
Right, I personally never see a situation where I will buy that, but I don't do clues, so I guess that's that.
Yeah, I mean, clue people have so much money. Clue people have enough money they will just buy anything that helps them.
Right, and isn't that weird? Because normally we used to say that about PVM people.
I mean, PVM people also have too much money, but clue people have way too much money.
Well, you say my 2 max stash cash is too much money.
Well, I'm not going to throw any stones, but I'm not saying that.
I was disappointed that the bank will only hold a max cash stack.
Yeah, you got to use your pouch for the rest.
Yeah.
But getting back to the rewards on this, there's now also 2 daily powerful ghostly inks from Lupe, and daily rewards are sent to the bank and focus storage, not inventory. So another reason to go and pick those
up.
Another
nice. Yep.
That's nice, yeah.
And the big one, free item recovery from death once per day.
Yeah. I mean, that's
still a thing we care about?
No, I mean the cost of death these days is negligible.
That's what I was wondering. Like, I'm not running top tier stuff, but when I die, my death costs are like 20K.
Yeah, okay. Well, mine are a couple of 100K, but it's like
mine's 600K.
Yeah, that's what mine are. Mine are generally between 3 and 6, so it's like, yeah, I mean it's nice, but it's what's it going to save me 40 or 50K on one item? So yeah,
like
whatever.
I like this because it means that I have another reason to go out there.
It's not one free death; it's only one item. So
no, it is a free death because I died after doing this, and he said, "Oh, here's your free death per day."
Oh, I thought it was just a free item.
No, it's a free death.
I thought it was one item.
No.
Okay, well that's okay. That's better. I like that idea because it means I can just go somewhere and not worry about taking my home teleport tab, and when I get under 100 life points, click on that so I don't die. Go to the house, and if I die inside the house, I just go outside and all my stuff's still there. But
I like this from a boss learning perspective because, while I can do it, I still haven't, 100% mastered and nailed down hard mode care pack. So this gives me, another reason to feel like I can go out there and, I'm going to save that extra 600K when I first die, and then I can maybe learn from that and not allow that to happen in the day.
Yeah, knowing that it's an actual full free death, that's actually made it a much better reward in my eyes now. I thought it was just the one item, so...
Yeah, you might be wondering how I know that. Well,
You died.
I forgot to. I forgot to click the ballista when I was doing Vorkath this week once after doing this task set. So
ouch, F's in chat.
Yeah, it was just getting close to the end of the session, and I just lapsed out and started focusing on Zemreagle, and it was too late, and I didn't click it. So, but that's Underworld Grimoire 4. I'd also like to point out that this thing has the highest combat bonuses at plus 15 for a pocket item. So if you're willing to give up the passives of like a grimoire or a god book, this has the highest actual style bonuses there.
I actually never checked this bonus style, so that's nice.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're doing PVM, you're going to want a god book or grimoire, right?
Yeah, you want
of course, but yeah.
But
the
I mean,
make up for it. But
like if you for some reason were an achievement person and you didn't have your Wen book yet, and you do Slayer, this is what I would say to take along.
That's what I'm thinking. Slayer, chasing because I'm doing Dragonkin Bones for prayer, but I've never actually done Frost Dragons. And someone told me I'm an idiot. I should be doing Frost Dragons because they're AFKable, and I never really thought of them. So that'll be a good little one to take down there.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're fighting more than one, you're going to want the Wen book. Are you fighting more than one at a time?
I've never fought them, so I'd have to go and check.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's a good thing to start off with then. But overall, I feel like they hit the mark on the rewards here. And I have an issue generally with task sets, and this has actually helped me, figure out what the problem with them is. And I think my issue with task sets comes down to three things. Is that I find them really annoying to do if I don't have all the levels or all the quests unlocked to begin with. Because, they provide a nice tangible bonus, and it's just such a huge, long, extra cherry on top thing that it's kind of just annoying to set the focus on for them. The second thing is that this wasn't a case for this one, but for some of the other ones, and I'm specifically, thinking of like the Sears Village one and the Fremnik ones as an example here. For those ones, I feel like there's a lot of world hopping and moving around being involved in it. And, you can teleport to lots of places in game. But I think one of the things that comes up with this is that when you're doing these task sets, you kind of want to, after you have the requirements for the ones you haven't done organically, I think you want to do them in what is going to be the most efficient route. So you're not continually, jumping around and, just targeting them randomly. And I don't know if the wiki or anywhere has a guide on the optimal paths for the task sets of like which ones to do in order to make it so that, you're not wasting time going between them. So I think that's the second thing that puts me off the task sets. And I think the third thing that we also saw in this one is just how arbitrary some of them can be. Like, I go back to the jewellery one, to the blueberry pie one, and the Impling one. Like, those feel arbitrary, but they make sense for that kind of zone. But on the other side, you compare that to something like, getting whatever the score level is in Dominion Tower for the desert, or unlocking Bones to Peaches, or fully leveling up all the idiots in temple trekking, right? I felt like those were just very arbitrary things back in the other task sets that just really soured me on them. And it's like, why the hell would I want to be doing these task sets? And I think going through the Underworld tasks here has shown me exactly what my problems with task sets are. And I think I can use that now to my advantage, probably in old school, to make some of them less painful. I don't think we're going to be having any more on RS3. Sorry, that was kind of a tangent there. Anybody else have anything on the rewards? You guys just want to jump in on where I was at?
Oh, I'm a lover of tasks. I like those little extra things to unlock and, just little activities to be done. So I've always enjoyed tasks, whether some can be tedious, but as long as they're fun, they get you involved in different aspects of the game, send you back to places that you may not have visited for a couple of years. So I love them for that type of thing.
What about you, Sir Dones? How do you feel about task sets in general and how this one landed compared to some of the other task sets we got out there?
For task sets in general, I mean, I agree with you insofar as they can be kind of arbitrary, like which ones go into to the task sets. Because I think one of the main things that I like about the task sets specifically, as opposed to the more generalized achievement lists or achievement categories, is it gives you a tangible reward for exploration. And there's not a lot in the game that does that otherwise. But yeah, like it is kind of weird, some of the tasks that you have to do. Like, okay, the fermentic tasks, you have to get the agile top, I think it is, which is like 100 laps of the hard course. Like, okay, cool. Why?
Right.
Why am I doing?
Right. Or Bones to Peaches, like I said.
Well, Bones to Peaches isn't on the task, I don't think. It's on comp. I don't think it's on the tasks.
Right. I was right. Those two kind of blurred together because those were like my last three comp tasks back in the day.
Yeah. Like there are definitely some tasks that are annoying and really grindy and kind of unfun to do. Dominion Tower is another great example of that. Temple Trekking is a great example of that.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. There's definitely some implementation difficulties. I think conceptually, I do still like them. Partly, like one of the reasons that I like them actually is partly one of the reasons you said you don't like them, which is I still remember being excited about having a new thing to do.
Yep.
And like one of the things that you mentioned, Shane, is you find them really annoying if you don't have all the levels, you don't have all the quests, whatever.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. For me, where I'm at now in the game, like this comes out, I can knock out all of them in a couple of days.
Right.
Quest comes out, I got all the requirements already, I go and I do it. I miss logging in and thinking, oh boy, I've got to level up my fletching so I can go and do this achievement to get my tasks.
Right. Okay. And I'm saying that's the thing that bothered me.
Right.
And is bothering me presently in old school with that. Whereas it made doing these ones easier because I had all the quests. I had all the levels.
You have them all. Yep.
I have the combat, utility to go and, smack Nomad. I'd done the tank tasks, And
I think that's part of also your second point where, yeah, like if you're trying to knock out all of them in the course of an hour or two, yeah, that's going to be kind of annoying to do that.
Yeah.
But I think looking at them as a thing that you work towards makes them a lot more, at least to me, makes them a lot more palatable.
Yeah.
Because it's that carrot, right?
Right.
The game is dangling the grimoire or the seer's headband or whatever in front of me. It's got cool stuff on it, cool rewards. I want those cool rewards. What have I got to do to get the cool? Okay, now I have goals. Now I have a plan.
Right, and that's why I won't complete an old school task set until I've got, half a dozen or so left to go, and I know I can just, bang them out quickly in one go, and I have all the levels for them.
Right.
So, I also do want to, just highlight here that the hard tasks require 80 necromancy, and if we look at, in particular, the elite Underworld ones here, we're looking at things that are really steep, and we got to keep in mind the lens the three of us here are looking at this through. 96 herblore, 90 runecrafting, 90 necromancy, 95 prayer. 95 prayer and 96 herblore are the big ones there, because those are expensive still to do from that perspective.
But they are elite, so that's And I mean, you want to get 97 herblore really, because you want to unlock overloads. You want to have your 95 prayer because 92 prayer technically because you want soul split. But it gives you once you get 92 prayer, you've got soul split. Why do you need to go further? Well, now I go to 95 because I get this to unlock. Yeah, it's going to give me a nice little bonus on things. So there's I think it's. I mean, I'm in the Zones camp there, where it's nice to have those goals. Yeah, it's great. I mean, I'm maxed. I can go out there and do it every day. But I'm in the same boat. I miss having that. What am I going to work on to unlock this next thing I need?
Right, and
exactly.
like I can see that.
I miss. Yeah,
I can see that, and with that, like, was it? I think that's what surprised me the most this week was seeing the complaining about that.
Yeah, but I mean,
well,
it's just the age we live in.
Bear in mind that a lot of the vocal community, particularly on the subreddit, but in general, like the people who are most vocal and most engaged, they skew more towards being late game, high level players. So they skew more towards, I've got all the levels, I just want to knock this out because it's a thing that I have to do to maintain comp. So there's a big chunk of people who just want this to be over with so they get their comp caves back and they can go back to grinding...
Picking their nose?
Grinding Vorpath or doing, 10,000 hard clues a day or dancing in War's Retreat or whatever these people do.
Or having Christian fundamentalist debates on World 84, right, Pern?
Oh God.
We don't talk about World 84.
Yeah.
We don't go there, Simba. That's a dark place.
Yeah. And
actually that actually happened on World 79.
Okay.
Yeah.
But see, here's the thing. Where do you go from here? Because I know there's people who would like to have, like you guys are saying, these sorts of, task set continuations. And,
Master task set.
And I see two places that you go with this. You go for like an ultra trimmed, master task set or, one step above this and add to a bunch of the other task sets out there. Add more, tasks to them. But then you're looking at more arbitrary, more higher level things beyond level 99, which if we're looking at things that are, coming down the pipe, that is something they could do. That's one path they go, I think, on this.
Yeah, it's not necessarily unreasonable, given that we're talking about taking all the skills to 120 over the next few years.
Yeah. There's also the option... Go ahead.
I was going to say, you may not even need to lock it sort of behind areas. You can sort of have a completionist task set once you've got them all done, and then you have those things that sort of are tasks that are aimed at between sort of your 99 to 120 levels.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a variety of ways that they could go about it.
Or there's the option, for like meta, category tasks, like combat achievements, so to speak, that could, in many ways be seen as a task set. I know some of the JMods are looking at bringing combat achievements over because those are something that's very popular on the old school side. And, one of the ones that came up in pre-show is, well, what about, completing all the feats, like completing all the Beastmaster, Durzag, and Yakimari feats as an example. Those are, yep. I think you said those are on trim right now?
No, they're not.
Okay.
No.
But that is exactly the kind of thing that you would put in a combat achievements task set, Add 24 or so combat achievements to 4 tiers and bam. You have something I think that's really compelling. That's not necessarily a carbon copy of old school's combat achievements, but it's something that would give people something, I think, to work towards and a true challenge at the elite end of the spectrum because, you Pronacius, were talking that you don't envision a world where you would do something like the Yakimaru feats.
No, but if it was on a task set like that, it would probably compel me to do that and stop procrastinating on... Yeah, I mean, I don't like group content.
And there's reason to not like group Yakimaru.
Yeah, I mean, I hate being the one to stuff everyone up. That's just me. I mean, I really... If I fail myself, fine. But if I... cause a group to fail, I feel bad. And most people say, hey, don't worry about it, it happens. But I still feel bad. That's just me. That's the way I do. That's why I don't really like group content. But if it was on a task set like that, I would sit there and I'd find a group and say, well, hey, we're all hunting for the same thing. Let's work on it together and learn, and it'll open me up to that content and stop me because I've got to go all the boss logs anyway. But I do tend to procrastinate a lot on combat, where having another goal like that, it's just that extra cherry on top that says, okay, just force yourself, let's do it. And hey, I'll end up falling in love with it like I do with everything else, but it's just
you
say
that. You say that. As an example, one of the ones on Yakimaru, make friends and influence people. Use Asphyxiate on Yakimaru's North Pool and have the whole raid survive. And the fun part about that is that Asphyxiate is a stun, and every time you stun at Yakimaru when it's not the right time, you wind up hurting the entire team. And a poorly timed Asphyxiate can kill the entire team. So... But
that's a fun one where we're all trying to do it to learn. So
yeah,
you have
to.
So it's working that out, and people jump on Discord and talk it out, and okay, let's go, bang, 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 and okay, you've done it, now let's go and do it for the next person.
Yeah, and
when you're working for it for everyone,
like Raid FC still, it has a Discord and a friends chat that can organize all these sorts of things. So there are places that do it. So that's two ways of doing it, like a master task set or combat achievements, as in meta tasks. What would a clue task set look like? I feel like that's just the clue log, but there's got to be some form of achievements in related to clues that could go in a clue task set.
There's not very many right now. I think the only clue achievements right now are hidey holes and like doing one of each thing, the ones they added with the comp update. And then there's one for just using a meerkat pouch.
Yeah, so that would have to be
I don't know.
Area of
be
expansion. Or you just accept that task sets are done because the entire body kit is filled out, right? Like there's a piece from every worn equipment slot. Granted, you can't use the aura outside of Daemonheim, but still, there's a piece for each equipment slot, and a lot of the big key regions are handled, and they do have their task sets for them. So, or we could just, say, okay, we're done with this, and this is, complete at this point.
Well, devil's advocate, we've completed the slots. We've completed the set. We have one thing for every set. But why can't we say, okay, next year, Anachronia task set, we're going to give you another pair of boots. And now you're going to have to choose whether you want to wear the Fermenic boots or the Anachronia dinosaur boots. The ones with the dinosaur claws on them or whatever.
The dinosaur toenails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like there's no set effect on the task gear. The rewards or the bonuses.
So you're saying you could take it one step further and add set effects, maybe?
Well, not even. You don't even need to add set effects, but like, what's stopping us from just adding more pieces? Just doubling up on slots.
Plate.
Yeah,
that's right. Different
hat,
different gloves. Yeah, well, you don't. Exactly.
Right. And I guess if you piggyback this back to the combat achievements section and you add, the easy, medium, hard, and elite combat achievements, that's 4 pieces of combat task set gear that you could get for that theoretically, right?
Yep. And I mean, we've covered the main continental areas of the game for now. Anachronia is still missing. That's a big one.
There's people who would have absolutely no problem with it just going missing, right?
Yeah, just dropping off the face of the earth entirely, sure. But eventually we'll probably add more land masses, more areas.
Yeah. Those are always...
We can have a Zenaris task set or whatever. Maybe one day we'll add Zaya to RS3.
Yeah. That's a big one.
Yeah.
That's a big one in old school.
Eastern Lands, yeah.
Yeah, Corrend and Varlamore.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's nothing to say we couldn't get more, or Arpasandra eventually, when we ever get gnomes again.
Finish the gnome quest, Jagex.
So, there's hypothetically room to do more of these in the future.
Yeah, okay. But does it make sense to do it?
I mean, it's a reward space.
And I guess if it could be some of the best best equipment in game, and then you make the decision, do you wear this or do you wear the other one, or do you wear, a specific set of combat gear, specifically talking about the combat achievement one, for example, I think then you have something that's perhaps a bit compelling there.
Yeah, I mean, it's skilling reward space, it's choice in terms of equipment, worn equipment. I think there's lots of things you could do with it.
Yeah, but I keep coming up with buts, and I swear I'm not trying to do this intentionally. But what about
Shane likes big butts, and he cannot lie.
But what about the combat achievement interface? Does that carry, or sorry, just in general, the achievement interface, does that carry us through with what we got now? I wonder.
What do you mean carry us through?
Well, like we got this interface back last year when the first part of the Underworld Tasks came out that, show your completion for a given task set, right? You know the interface I'm talking about?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
Under the hero tab, yeah.
Yeah, because that came out last summer with Necromancy. It's the area task set one. There's that, but then if you click into each one, you're then taken to the old achievements user interface, which I feel, and maybe I'm in the minority here, that this could be a better UI, reminiscent of that old 2016 era achievement system we were promised that never fully materialized.
Yeah, it probably could use some improvement. I mean, I think it's fine, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just used to it.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing. If you're used to it, that's one thing. But
it's definitely better than it. It's definitely improved. It remembers what you were on when you closed the window. That's nice.
Yes.
Okay.
I was going to say the same thing. I mean, maybe they could improve it, but I'm just so used to it now. I know I click on this. It's just sort of second nature now. So
yeah, and like I still feel like RS
doesn't bother me.
Like on this, I feel like RS achievements are still lagging compared to what everybody held them up to back in the day, like the Xbox achievements and whatnot, and they still do, like the gamer score and even Steam achievements. So, but I think we're picking at hairs at this point in time, and I feel like it's a discussion that could go either way about whether or not you add more achievement set or you call it done, because there's a compelling case to say that it's just done content. You might as well leave it there at that point. But
yeah,
task sets maybe, but I mean, I hope they don't stop adding achievements.
Or sorry, task sets. They should always add achievements.
Yeah. Well, I mean, bear in mind, we're talking about a almost 25-year-old game.
With people who've been playing for 20+ years.
Nothing is ever truly done. There's always room to do more.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I think we can leave that there. I don't necessarily know that there's much else to say on that. Let us know what you guys think about if you like the task set, where you think they could go for task sets going forward. But I do want to have a look at the Sanctum of Rebirth preview that was put out today on this. Did you guys have a chance to look at this for the content coming Monday?
I did. I didn't watch it.
I haven't yet. I've got it loaded up, but I haven't actually watched it yet.
So the first thing that becomes immediately apparent is that we have this gigantic cavernous room and floating platforms, which I think looks absolutely wonderful. That's the first thing I noticed. The second thing that I noticed that becomes immediately clear about halfway through the video is that when it comes time to actually doing the bossing here, there's squares and grids that appear on the floor that appear to be telling you about where you should and shouldn't stand, and we see the character utilizing things like dive and escape to protect themselves here on that.
Yeah, mechanic telegraphing, but specifically it's the kind of mechanic telegraphing that is tied to the actual geometry.
Yep.
It's squares, it's not circles.
Right.
We don't do circles.
Right.
We don't know how to do circles in RuneScape.
Because the classic example of this is that if you fight Karapak, you see this wall of lightning and you think if you touch the actual lightning, you're going to die and you're going to have a problem with it. But the reality is that lightning comes quick and it gets to you even before the lightning model does. So that's why it's so important avoiding things like that on that. So I'm looking forward to seeing where they go with the telegraphing here. They say for a good start in this boss dungeon, you'll want, of course, the necromancy quest, which is a hard requirement, the dive ability unlocked from Succession, the mobile invention perk of Shadow's Grace Archaeology Relic, and Bone Shield. To be better prepared, you want all the beginner requirements as well as tier 90 plus weaponry, damage potential increasing equipment, and overloads, which I think, that's your bread and butter PVM there, so not too much reading into
almost
that.
Feel like they might as well have just said your PVM gear.
Yeah. But at the same time, a lot of people, just parade around in tank gear because that's what they feel comfortable in, and the necromancy tank gear adds so much life points and dodge chance to various things.
There's nothing wrong with using tank gear.
So I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm gonna say that these are gonna be some of the best received bosses in game if they can get this telegraphing down right, and it provides a compelling experience in hard mode for the people who are at that level.
Well, you don't ask for much, do you?
No, because the reason I say that is I know what happened with Vorkath, and we know how people felt about that after the hard mode drop tables, and that they just really weren't that compelling, even with the changes that were made to them.
Well, the tier 95 wand and orb, that's going to help.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know. We'll see what's on the other tables.
And see, that's the thing. We largely don't know what's on these drop tables yet, and that's what they're kind of leading us on with in terms of items, which I think is fine. We talked about that last week, but and then on the normal perspective, the thing that I always heard the most, and what I struggle with in PVM, and you guys can agree or disagree with this, was that RuneScape is just built in such a way that you never know where the mechanic is going to land and where the window of it is to avoid the damage. Like, if I'm going to switch prayer, or if I'm going to cast an ability to block something, do I do that before the creature fires it? Do I do it while the projectile is in the air? Do I do it right as it hits? When do I do it? And I think that's the big question that people always ask when it comes to blocking prayers and whatnot. So that's one side of it, but the other one is just how do you avoid things on the floor, right? It's like Raksha is a bad example of that. There's so much stuff on the floor you got to watch out for. If you don't, you're dead. And I'm hoping that this telegraphing here is going to, in effect, set the tone for what we see in future bosses, because they brought mechanics in before at various bosses, like maybe the Vorkath loop mechanic, but maybe that'll be back. But other things as well that were brought in for one boss and then really never continued on with that, right? So that's my hope, is that this telegraphing will actually lead to successful fights both on the normal and the hard mode scales. So, but what do you guys think we're actually fighting here? Is it the cat? Because one of them looks like a dragon in terms of what we have here.
Yeah, the first one kind of looks like it's like an undead Leviathan. Kind of. It's very reminiscent of the Crash and Leviathan from ED3.
Yeah.
But multi-headed, seemingly. So, I don't know, Undead Hydra?
Ooh. Ooh.
I will say they're all considered soul devourer creatures.
Yeah.
So they're the same type of creature as the ox in the Sophanum dungeon. The second one kind of looks like an undead Jad.
It almost says Hellweir written on it.
I was thinking Hellweir on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see Hellweir too.
That Hellweir and Jad had a unholy baby.
Oh, there's an idea. No, I'm sure it'll be its own specific thing there.
There's fan fiction for that.
But keep in mind, we've only seen 2 of them here, right? So maybe the other one, the first one is some kind of the Leviathan, and the second one is the Hellweir-looking one, but the third?
Yeah, the third we've only had a very brief glimpse. It appears humanoid. That's all I'm prepared to say with confidence.
Where is this in the video, by the way? I missed that.
It's right near the end. Look at...
about 55 seconds in.
Yeah, starting from 55 seconds. I can't imagine that's anything else other than the final boss.
A mascot?
That's kind of what I'm wondering. It might be a mascot, which would be wild. Because it is humanoid. It's clearly humanoid. It looks like it's holding... I'm guessing those are probably meant to be the Tier 95 wand and orb, but they remind me a lot of the wand that Ichlarin carries. So yeah, I mean, my first thought was, yeah, this could be a mascot.
Well, that would make sense with all the redacteds then that we've been seeing.
But even as you look at the entrance with the little statues as you walk into it and things, I mean, yeah, I got the mascot vibe off it.
Yeah, it's very reminiscent of the Memory of Nomad Arena, which
we were just at.
But lore-wise, in Nomad's Elegy, it was established as being Ichlarin's home.
Yeah.
So it's the same sort of aesthetic, would make sense for.
And if we're talking about rebirth and death, that's right on the right track then.
Yeah, because that's a mascot's original role in the Menethite pantheon as the goddess of rebirth.
Bingo. And that's why I was saying earlier, holy crap, if we go this way for the quest, because keep in mind we're supposed to have Sanctum of Rebirth, the Skilling boss, and the next story quest. These things are all supposed to synergize together to tell the next part of our story from where we left it off last December. Or, sorry, not last December, with Requiem for a Dragon. So, I think I've just started looking forward to Sanctum of Rebirth a lot more than I was previously, thanks to this little lore deep dive on the few frames of video that we have here.
Well, then we've done our job.
Yeah, so we'll see if we were, of course, correct on that as we head on into Monday. But what have we been doing on RS? How goes the Barrows drive there, Sir Don'ts?
Oh, slowly. I've been quite demoralized, so I haven't been going through them as quickly as I was before. I'm at 2560 now, still one item off log. To be honest with you, mostly I've been doing other things. I picked up Assassin's Creed Origins and Odyssey on the Steam Summer Sale, so I've been playing those for the most part. And I think that underscores what happens when people start going for these logs if you just don't have the nerves of steel, because, I mean, at some point you just got to take a break and move on to something else, right? I'm so tired. I'm so tired of Barrows. And there's nothing even guaranteeing the next drop you get is going to be the one, right? No, there's nothing. It's just pure randomness.
I remember back in the day, my first video series was the Barrows drop log. That was before they added what's her name? The
Linza.
Yep. Linza. And before they had drop logs, so I completed the entire drop log. I think it took me almost 2,000 kills to complete it all. That was, as I said, pre-Linza, and then I thought, okay, done, never have to come back here again. And then, of course,
you got to do it all again.
They decided, hey, we're gonna do a drop log, and we're not gonna backtrack it for you.
Yeah.
So I haven't even set foot back in there since, other than for the for the weapons for necromancy, but yes, it's going to be a fun one. But
that's very fair. I think I was 2100 to get all of the non-Linza pieces.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But hey, it's content. It's fun. It gives us a goal. But I'm not the type that can just sit there and just do that over and over and over again. Like I'll work on sort of 2 or 3 bosses at the same time when I'm going for logs. So yeah, I get bored of one, I can just go move on to the other one and just take a little bit of time there just to have that break.
Yeah, and I think that's what you need. Like I was doing a thing at one point. I was doing 50 kills a day.
Yeah,
of barrows, and that's a lot.
That is
a lot to do for weeks at a time.
Yeah. How long did the 50 kills take you?
Several hours. I think I'm at roughly 10 kills an hour.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because while they're not hard bosses, there's a lot you've got to go through.
Yeah,
it's
just a lot of around.
Exactly.
A lot of running around.
Yeah. Okay. As for me this week, keeping it on the same track in terms of boss logs, I completed my 100 kill counts over at Vorkath on normal mode because I wanted to get the Zemmer Nexus for next week to get the extra 15 levels for Bone Shield to bring that up to level 75 from 60. So I completed my 100 Vorkath kills in normal mode there, speaking of bossing. And yeah, I don't think I've gone... I think the only PVM ventures I've done in RS that have been longer than an hour at a time is when, I was doing all the elite dungeons from start to finish, the first 3, and then Zamorak release day was another big one for that. But even when I was doing this Zemmer run to get the Zemmer Nexus or Stones, I did no more than an hour a day just to keep myself sane.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's fair. That's eminently fair.
And, same thing when I got to, getting the last few for the Raziel drop log. That was still only an hour a day there.
No, not drop dog, drop cat.
Yeah.
Raziel.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll come to Australia where we have our drop bears.
Cats always land
drop
on.
Family.
Wow.
Hey?
The whole drop family.
Yeah, that's it.
But, it took me about 25, 30 kills to really get the rhythm down for it. And then by the time that happened, I was, getting consistent sub 3-minute kills to the point I think my fastest time was like 2 minutes and 38 seconds on normal mode.
Were you doing the giants?
No, I just did the one to get into the boss fight at the end.
Yep.
Like I did because what they do, one of them spawns spikes on the ground, which is basically the Hydrix, the Hydrix Dragon spec. So you just, either, surge away from that or use dive. So that's no big deal. And then the other ones are minions. The minions really on normal mode don't do too much damage to you, and they don't heal the boss too much, so you can kind of just ignore them. If you want to, you just cast a Threads of Fate and then, Volley of Souls, and then everything on the field will wind up dead with that. So I didn't do hard mode because for the difficulty increase and the life point increase, the people I've talked to basically said is that if you're doing hard mode at this boss, be in for the long haul. Because, Bears, who we have on the show for the PVM stuff, is hundreds of kills in. Just has one Lord of Bone Codex and no Vorkath scales.
Wow.
So you've really got to be in for the long haul if you're doing hard mode. So for just, doing 100 kills to get the Nexus, I figured normal mode's just the way to go on that.
Jeez, the scales are really that rare? Wow.
Or he's just having bad luck. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's also possible.
Yeah. So, but
he says 1 in 250. He must just be having terrible luck.
Yeah, because I know he's got, I think he said it was close to 400 or 500 kills on this and no scale.
Yeesh.
But, aside from that, on the PVM front, not too much. I did one of my grand passes where I cleaned up my bank and just, reduced everything that was in there that had been stacking up, and I'm closing in on the 2 bill in cash stack at this point in time. So I don't know what that's going to get spent on. I was thinking maybe dyes at some point, like soul dyes, that because they're that nice green color, but I don't know. Haven't decided really on that. On the old school front, since we last gathered here, we did our podcast on While Gothic Sleeps, which I'll send people over to listen to for the controversy that followed from that and the tormented demons. Because it's RuneScape, right? One version of RuneScape has to have a controversy every week. If it's not RS3, it's old school. But so we talked about that.
Apparently, we got double dip this week.
Well, Gothic Sleeps was last week on old school. This was this week. So
okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I would hate to have a week that was double dipping on that. So
somewhere a monkey's paw curled.
What? What?
You don't understand that?
No.
That reference?
No.
The you make a wish on the monkey's paw and it grants you your wish, but it turns out horrible.
Yeah, I've never heard that.
It's one of those old like scary campfire ghost story things.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. But that's pretty much it for me. How about you, Bern? What have you been up to?
Not a lot. Spending a bit of time at the beach, just doing sort of construction, doing some wood cutting to get elder logs to make into frames. Just really prepping for the next DXP, where I'll be sort of raising my construction, prayer, and summoning up to into the 190 mils, and start working on the 200s from there.
Nice.
They're the last three I have to get to 200. Or to get to 190s, and then I start working on the 200s. Still chasing a core. I am at 970 odd wilderness events.
Oh, Dark Onyx core. I thought you meant Glacier core. Okay.
No. Yeah, just chasing that. The first 100 I did sort of everywhere, but basically since I hit the 100 mark to get that achievement done, it's all been at the elite ones. And it really annoys when I see someone, quick chat, they've done 300 and got four of them, and I'm sitting at 970 without one.
Wow.
I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but yeah.
Yeah, that's yikes.
And I mean, I'm sitting there thinking, if I hit 1,000 without one, I'm just going to buy the bloody thing.
Seems fair.
Like I haven't done flash events since Fresh started. Maybe that's a bad thing, but I haven't felt the need to.
Yeah, well, it's just again because to me it's part of a drop log. It's my own personal drop log. Yeah. Like I like to unlock things, so I want to get one. It's the same as working. Like I'm still doing archaeology to get the brush piece. I am at 560. I think it was last count, relics without a brush piece.
So it really is as rare as the tip then, the spear tip.
Oh, I don't.
Yes,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm sitting there watching people getting them. It's always, it's flashing up, this person got it, this person got it. I'm going, are you freaking kidding me? I'm sitting here at, 560 relic pieces. Most people are getting them sort of in that sort of 250 to 300 mark. So, again, if I hit 600, it's like double everyone else and not get it. It's just like, I'll quit and just go somewhere else.
Move on to something else.
Yeah. Come back to it when they fix the drop rate.
Fair enough. Well, this week for achievements, we have Alex43 with 120 Necromancy on the 17th. We also have Dad Engineer with 200 mil attack on the 17th. On the 15th, we have Demi Heights with 99 agility and 99 crafting. Edict with 99 magic. Arendelle 20 on the 14th with 200 million woodcutting XP. Roll a Dude 540 with 120 Necromancy on the 13th. Robbie got 200 million magic on the 12th, and Alio Sith got 120 Dungeoneering on the 11th. Well done, everyone. Well done.
Congratulations, all.
Ooh.
Alrighty, folks. For this week's Pick of the Week, I have a piece of software that is not subscription-based. It is Mac OS related only, so if you are a Mac user out there, you might find this useful. But there is no Windows version for it. And I don't think that, that you would even, maybe even need something like this on Windows. But what it effectively is a system monitoring tool that allows you to put your stats for things like your memory, your network usage, your battery, your GPU and all that, fan speed and whatnot, into your macOS menu bar if you want to have that as a quick glance tool. Or what you could also do is you can just pop out the little things that are in the menu bar and have them appear on your desktop, and then you could have a specific desktop space that's just for showing these sorts of things, if that's the approach that you want to go with. And the reason this is pick of the week is that I'm always opening Activity Monitor, the macOS equivalent of Task Manager, to see where the memory's going, and if I'm using too much, or if the CPU is running some errand process or what have you like that. And I can open Activity Monitor and do that. But there used to be a really good piece of software out there called iStat Menus that was, I think, once upon a time even a pick of the week on the podcast. But what happened with iStat Menus is the company who made that moved that piece of software over to a subscription base. And for people who, are aware of how I do picks of the week and whatnot, you'll know that I absolutely dislike subscription-based software. So I was able to find this other piece of software called Menu Bar Stats 3. You can find it at Seents.com, SEENSE.com. Link in the show notes over at update.show. But it's a one-time purchase. It has a 30-day free trial on it, so you can try it out first to make sure it's what you want. But it goes back to the classic era of you buy the software once and it's yours, and you get the updates for it until the developer moves on from that major version. That it's up to you if you keep it or if you buy the next version. But so far it's still on the same version from when it launched, and it's got a pretty long history of providing updates for it. But the main reason this one's a pick of the week over the previous version of the software that was used here is that this one is one time and not subscription based, which is actually a really huge thing for me in this day and age in determining where I go for these things. I'd rather do a one time than something that is subscription based monthly or yearly on that. And it's also got support for widgets as well if you want to just use it through the macOS notification center or what have you with that. But Menu Bar Stats 3, that's the pick of the week.
Very nice.
Cool.
All right. I don't think we have anything else. Anybody have anything else here before we pack it in for this week, heading off to the Sanctum of Rebirth on Monday?
Nope.
No. Looking forward to.
Yeah. Hopefully we didn't piss anyone off with the achievements discussion here, because I know even amongst our people it was a bone of contention about whether or not the achievements were valid initially on that, and where I was going to land based on these task sets. So let us know what you think of that, of course, either in the Discord, update.show/Discord, or on YouTube, where you can subscribe to the podcast, youtube.com/RSBANDB. Do give us a like and subscribe there. Greatly helps the channel out. And we are on all the other podcast listeners out there too. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, Pocket Casts, and more. Just visit update.show/subscribe and click on your favorite podcast listening service. But with that being said, we'll be back next week for another episode of RSBANDB Update, Sanctum of Rebirth. See you then, everyone. Take care.
Happy Skype.
Bye.